Hey everyone, welcome back to High Tea Hoops. This is Brian Bosche at the Duke of Hoops. That's our nickname now, Ari. We have basketball accounts and the Duchess of Hoops, Skylar. And today we are so excited to have Ari Chambers from HighlightHER and Bleacher Report. What's up, Ari?
What is up?
Boom, boom, boom.
I need a horn. Where are my sound effects?
So, well, that's post-production. I'll put it. I'm just learning GarageBand. We'll get it in there. But thank you so much for coming on. Just to start with our audience, if you want to give a quick background on your role at Bleacher Report and HighlightHER, a little background on your experience, we'd love to hear who you are.
So I actually made the brand or helped build it. Well, helped build it. I completely built it from the ground up. HighlightHER. It's the female brand of House of Highlights, where it's empowering women, showcasing them doing dope things on and off the court, on and off the field. We don't discriminate which sport. We don't discriminate the level of play. The whole goal is to have a community of women celebrating women. So that's what it is. And Bleacher Report gave me that opportunity, specifically under the House of Highlights umbrella, and we just intend to keep growing.
Yeah, it's been really fun to follow.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely follow HighlightHER. It's a great follow. So, Ari, let's get into the W and the Wubble. So, what have been your impressions of the Wubble so far? You know, we kind of got off to a shaky start, you'd say. You know, we saw some of the accommodations for the women compared to the NBA players. And so, you know, we got off to a little bit of a shaky start, you know, kind of rebounded a little bit. What have been your impressions thus far?
I think it's unfair to compare it to the NBA. It's kind of like apples to oranges, just because they expect the same accommodations because they have more money. That's just basically what it boils down to. Oh my God. That's what it boils down to. So the WNBA, what they've done, they've created the best out of a situation that isn't Disney. I think the first few days are always going to be bumps in the road, and I really encourage people not to focus on that type of thing, especially because the players have passed it. So I feel like if the players are past it, we should be as well. But there are villas, there are lodges, there's hotels, the options. They can golf, they can go to the pool. The campus seems really nice, and I love when they film their villas and take us on like an MTV Cribs type tour.
Yeah.
And you see the Minnesota Lynx got to a private beach.
They went to a beach day.
They did have a beach
the
day.
WS Beach Day.
Yeah, and it's like in their contracts that they're all allowed a team one vacation per team to live it up. And so
it's part of their bubble.
Yeah, they're trying to be as safe as possible. So kudos to them to try to make the best of the experiences they can for the women. Yeah,
because it's their whole season. You know, that's a clarifying point. It's not just like a restart, maybe you're kicked out. It's the whole season they have to commit to for that.
That's what a lot of people don't realize. Like, for the men, it's 8 games and then they go to playoffs. The women, it's 22 games and then you go to playoffs. So, and it's condensed schedule. You need that type of release, and you need that type of leisure to balance
for
out.
sure, yeah.
And looking at the Wubble itself, what have you thought of the game presentation? Skylar and I are the fans of kind of how they've presented everything. It looks really good on TV. What are kind of your impressions of that?
I live for it. I think it looks clean. I love that Black Lives Matter on it. I love that I can hear players, cuss each other out. I don't think there's a missing element of noise. I don't know about anybody else, but I don't see that there's much missing with the broadcast. They're saying everything that needs to be said, even though some mispronunciations. But outside of that, like, the noise is fine to me. I like hearing the players, even though they try to beep them out. I like hearing that. It gives me game day intensity.
I personally love hearing every single word Candace Parker is saying to those refs. I love it.
I was joking. The thing about Candace is it's so funny because every time she gets a foul, it's like she's so shocked every single time. I live
she's like, me?
But me? I did that. No. But like that one that they called the tech on her, I'm like, nah, bro, you're tripping.
We talked about this on the last pod where we're like, all we want is Candace Parker and Sue Bird arguing and joking with each other. Do not call technicals on that. It's unbelievable.
Do not take that away from us.
Yeah, I throw in DT and that will make it extra spicy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. No, yeah, it always does.
Extra spicy.
Yeah. So what teams have been impressing you so far? This is a really, it's a really weird experience. And so, I don't think we're seeing what we would expect out of all of these teams. So what teams have you watched that you've been really impressed with the way that they've come together in the Wubble and the way that they're playing in the Wubble?
Well, I've been impressed with a lot of players individually, but as far as teams, I would say the Mystics coming together, gelling like nobody thought they would, because everybody was like, oh my God, Elena's not playing, and then Tina's opting out, so we can't even see the potential in that. So they're doomed. Mm-hmm. They're not the reigning champions. And so what my Coach T did, he was like, okay, I'll show you. And he always has a way of turning the underdogs or the overlooked players into stars. And that's what you see happening right now. The man knows how to coach. He just does. So that's fun to see. And Chicago's doing exactly what I thought Chicago would do and gel at the right time. So I think they're ranked first right now. 4-1. So I just love seeing them together, and their chemistry on and off the court is just really dope. They have a different energy. So those two teams in particular have been really impressing me. Atlanta's been impressing me, even though their record doesn't necessarily reflect that. But they're holding their own. They're a little feisty team, which we all anticipated. But again, individual players are stepping up and showing you like, hey, we holding it down.
Are you intentionally not bringing up the Seattle Storm, Ari, or?
I feel like everybody else talks about them enough.
Leave that to us.
But we already know what the Seattle Storm can do. They're getting back all their missing pieces. They're obviously going to finish top, if not championship year for them, definitely. Sue Bird's making me very sad because I know sad that she's not immortal. But yeah, and I love the electricity from Jordan Canada, who's playing with a chip on her shoulder, that she's been listening to people who've been doubting her. And you see her really holding her own, standing her own in the absence of Sue Bird, and then with her as well. So Seattle's doing Seattle things. That's, they're doing exactly what I thought they would do. But as far as who's impressed me, who's like defied what I thought was going to happen, it's definitely the Mystics.
Yep.
So there's your Seattle gas. There's your Seattle.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, being
we have
in
to
Seattle,
do it at least once every podcast is gas up the storm.
Yeah, we have to.
I mean, I don't mind it. I'm a huge Jewel Lloyd fan. I think she's not talked about enough. And I think they have a really well-rounded team. So it's just nice.
They're fun to watch. Natasha Howard, like they're all really fun to watch.
Oh yeah. Natasha Howard.
And it's funny because in Seattle we'll see them walking around. So like Breanna Stewart, because she's 6'4", right? 6'3", 6'4". But she has the longest arms I have ever seen of anyone. I think her wingspan's she has more than LeBron. I'm just like, are you kidding? Like, it's unbelievable. Okay, thank you for the Storm shout out. We appreciate it. And then on the player side, who stood out to you really, before Sabrina going out with the sprained ankle, which was awful. But
we knew Sabrina would do great.
Yeah. We talked about in the last pod, at least she got her kind of blowout performance in there where she, put up 33 and 7 and 7, won out on that. But who else has impressed you from an individual player standpoint?
We have Myesha Hines-Allen. Again, going back to nobody was even talking about her. Nobody really knew her game. I covered her in college, so I knew what she was capable of. And thank God Coach T saw that as he drafted her. I love the intensity she brings. I love just her spirit in general. She has such a light spirit, but such a tough, competitive nature. And her mixed with aerial powers, I mean, come on. Then you have DeWanna Bonner, who's playing the best basketball of her life.
It's crazy.
Again, but it's getting, downplayed a little bit because Connecticut has not won a game yet. The other night when Brianna Jones got her career high, that was great. I love seeing players hit these new milestones and get these opportunities because, in the absence of JJ, she's able to fill those shoes. There's a lot of cases of that this year. Kennedy Carter, that's my favorite. And she takes control of what she wants to take control of. But Najelani, she's been doing great too. Monique Billings, I think that her rebounding ability is very, very underestimated. I think that her efficiency in the paint is underestimated. So yeah, Simone Augustus, everybody, like we see the big hoo-ha on the off season thinking like, hey, she's not worth this amount, and she comes out of nowhere, just money moan. Angel McCoughtry, we haven't seen play in 2 years. It's like the year of the comeback and the year of the underdog that had to step up because there is no.
You're right. It's like the veterans like Bonner, what is 10 years, I think, in the WNBA, where she's been in for a long time, and she's leading the league in scoring. And so you're right. It's kind of the comeback, the step up, next person up type mentality, the younger players than the veterans.
I love that. It's like, it's not your typical superstars. And I mean, even though there's one age superstar, but like, it's not your typical superstar that you're going to and you're like, oh, this person is automatically going to drop 30. No, you have this person who, hey, I didn't play much my rookie year, but I'm stepping in and I'm showing out.
Mm-hmm. Why it's even like for the Phoenix Mercury, it's kind of like they have the big three, but then Bria Hartley stepping up and like she's kind of taking on as they struggle. So it's been fun to see these teams kind of come together, especially when DT gets really upset during these games.
I stand at career high Bria Hartley, 27 points the other night. Shout out to her.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Justice for Bria Hartley. Everyone doubted her. So you mentioned
she's never been in a place where she's been needed like that. Like, well,
yeah,
but like she's never been in a place where she could utilize her skill set to be needed. If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, totally. You brought up Kennedy Carter. There was a lot of hype around this class of rookies, Sabrina, Kennedy, Satu Sabali. There was a lot of really great players this year, and there was, justifiably a lot of hype around them. I want to know what you think about this kind of new pressure on rookies. We're seeing kind of the same thing with Zion, and, we saw it with Sabrina. There's so much hype around them when they're so young, like 19 to 22 basically, and then they come in and they have some really great performances. Then a lot of them end up getting hurt really quickly. So do you think we're putting too much pressure on these rookies for how young they are? And who is your rookie of the year this year? It's a pretty small sample size thus far, but who's your kind of initial thought?
I think it's a huge sample size because it's the most rookies that I've seen play, because older players are opting out. But I don't think it's too much pressure because their generation has grown up to be hyped up from 8th grade on. So they know nothing else, right? We are looking at it like this didn't happen. We didn't have like the social media platforms that blasted the select top 10 players from 13 years old till your pro career. So I think that because of the popularity right now and how they were brought up, it's no extra pressure. This is just what they're used to. And I think that you have players that thrive under that energy of like, oh, I'm good. Let me show you that can be better. You see this, like, I want to say like Diamond Shields, her freshman class, when those 5 came into UNC, they knew that they were good. They were hyped up and they delivered. And, now you see Diamond still has that confidence. I think that confidence is like really, it radiates in a lot of the younger players just because they've been gassed their whole life. They know nothing else. My rookie of the year, hands down, Kennedy Carter. I think she's a dog. She knows she's a dog. That whole team is better off with her. And that's what I look for with a rookie of the year. It's like, how do you help your team and how do you do individually? Both of those go into play. And I think that she has the greatest potential to get her team farther. And then her style of play works really well in her, like with the rest of the team. And then her attitude matches a lot of her teammates' attitudes. So I love the Kennedy Carter, let's push her forward thing.
Did you give a shout out, Ari, that House of Highlights is helping develop young talent so they're more ready for the league? What was that?
We'll go with that. House of Highlights.
Highlight her, yeah. Highlight her is prepping people. It makes sense, though.
There are several platforms that are just holding it down. And they're focused on high school and the ones Gen Z and younger. That is not necessarily my beat, but shout out to those that can sit there and spot a talent at 13 years old.
Yeah, you start interviewing like 10-year-olds who are already 5'10", and you're like, okay, we have a little track going here.
One of my friends does it, and she does it really well, and that's why she's so successful.
Yep. You got to source the talent. Following up on Rookie of the Year, well, who is your MVP so far? We're so early, but it's kind of like
who? I'm not calling that because technically who my MVP would be like right now Dewana, but her team has not won at all. So it's just like, what can you do?
Let me rephrase then. Yeah. Who's the player of the week? That's a Bonner.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Dewana. Dewana did it for me. She's done it for me. She had to put the team on her back, despite it not really coming through. Something's missing with Connecticut, with chemistry-wise, and it's just something is just different about the energy of that team this year. Hopefully they can get it together, but it's sad because it's a shortened season, 22 games, so they're 5 games down. That's 1/4 of your season already done.
Yeah.
So.
Have you, with your interviews with players or talking to players before the season started, I know I listened to Rapinoe and Bird on, their Instagram lives and their different podcasts they were on. They were pretty unsure if the season was even going to start or they were going to come back pretty deep in the summer. What have you seen from players where, maybe they, weren't quite ready to play, or, we talk about some of these chemistry issues. Was the uncertainty a factor in kind of, them coming back, maybe some of these injuries or maybe some of this team chemistry issues? Was it kind of a surprise to them that the season was coming in and that they were actually going to go for it?
I don't think it was a surprise that the season was coming. I think that when you haven't been playing basketball because of quarantine, it's impossible to stay in basketball shape. And then also you don't have the training camp, the extended training camp, like the normal time allotted to blend with your team, to pick the best puzzle pieces for your team. It's basically the teams are designated like by the players who said, I want to play, or no, I don't want to play. So they didn't have that luxury of picking from the wide pool because there was no wide pool. So I think the injuries come because the games are every other day and they haven't had proper time to get in proper basketball shape. Their training camp was 2 weeks. And their bodies have been off for a record time. Like a lot of these players said, this is the longest time I've been at home. I've been with my family. I haven't been playing basketball. So that mixed with the schedule is what's happening. Why you see them dropping like flies, and it's just like, dang, sage the whole gym, because what are we gonna do? Like, because the protocol, if they were to fly people in, they're supposed to take it's supposed to be 10 days, but 4 to 10 days. So.
Yeah, you see that in contrast to the NBA, where they were at the end of their season. So they had played for almost an entire season together. They had the scrimmages. They had a lot more lead up time. And I think a lot of them kind of knew they were coming back. I think when we get to the playoffs, we'll see teams gelling a lot more and the basketball shape back. So I'm excited they get this lead up time to the playoffs at least.
Yeah, I mean, NBA is not my thing, but for the W, and hopefully they won't have them any more injuries and they'll get it together team chemistry wise. But shout out to Chicago, who has it all figured out, team chemistry.
Yeah. There's actually a lot of UK Chicago Sky fans.
Why?
I don't know.
Why is it like Chicago? You would think it would be something like on the East Coast.
Yeah, I think there's maybe like one person who likes it, so started a fan account, and that's how it grows. So yeah, a really interesting.
You know what? I have seen the Chicago WNBA France Chicago. I have seen it. Like there are a couple of UK accounts over there.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's like, all right, one person, and they can kind of grow the audience with just that one person interested. But that's why Twitter is amazing.
I'm just thinking, like, I mean, hey, go for all the French to go for Phoenix because, Bria.
Yep.
Just
there you go.
Go after it. I don't know anybody from the, from like London area that would be like playing in the W and stuff.
So, Ari, you're known to have a really good relationship with a lot of the WNBA players. We just saw your incredible interview with Jessica Breland a couple days ago, where she was, she's not a player who's kind of known to sit down for long form interviews like that. And she was talking about, a really hard subject in her cancer. And so, but she seemed really at ease with you. I'd love to hear a little bit about how you think about your relationship with the players as a member of the media, and how you kind of go about building that trust with them so that they trust you to tell their stories.
I don't think I actively go about building trust with players. I think that I just approach things like, hey, you're a human, I'm a human. If you want to have this conversation, you can. I'm not going to pry. I'm just going to try to guide you through whatever you're trying to tell me. And then a big thing about doing interviews is listening to them. Yeah. I know a lot of people that over prepare and they have their list of questions for the players and they're like, okay, what about this? And what about this? But if you really listen to their responses and you listen to what they're saying, then you're able to get something much deeper because you can pick up on like keywords. Like, she was telling me about how she was surrounded by positivity, and I was like, was there anybody in particular that said something to you? And then she was like, well, actually, this is a tattoo that I got. It just leads to things when you actually just pay attention to what they're talking about. A lot of the players, before I started in media, my friends growing up played basketball and like at a very high level. Their AU teams were great, and so I traveled with them and I met a lot of people there. And then like my best friend's Lakivia Boykin, she played at Wake Forest, and so naturally I knew De'Erica from that. It's like little things like that it pans out. And because I'm around so much, you got to realize when I first started, there was like 5 of us covering the league. So when you see members who've been on since you were in college, of course you're going to be like, oh, what's up? You know, yeah. I don't think it's any like rocket science, any magic behind it. It's just treating them like humans, knowing that their stories matter, actually caring about their stories. And yeah, Jessica Breland and Tierra Ruffin-Pratt, both 919. They went to UNC, I went to State. It's just very easy, especially when you're an ACC baby like me. A lot of people in ACC make it to the league. Like that's just, I mean, the Power 5 conferences are it. And I really, I want to say when you first start out, really put in the effort. I remember I would like spend my last dime trying to get like ESPN used to have National Media Days. I would spend my last dime to get to Bristol, Connecticut just to cover, these women when they're in college. I would go to Final Fours, have to start a GoFundMe to get there. That was so embarrassing to me, but I was like, I need to be there. And this is before I had anything, before I was with a company or whatever, but I ran off of passion. And when you ran off of passion and the players know that you're doing this for the right reasons, I mean, why wouldn't you want to help and support somebody like that? So they've been really great to me, and I've been really great to them. And so it's just a mutual respect and love.
Mm-hmm. It's truly like it ends up being a win-win for everyone. Like the players are the most comfortable they can be. They're talking to someone they like. You're getting a good interview. You're providing great content. And, like fans can tell when the players are comfortable with the person who's interviewing them. So, it's really a win-win for everyone.
I would say, and that's my struggle a lot. That's why you don't see me break news a lot. I know things that go on, but it's a thin line with like some of my friends who tell me things. Like I have friends in the league that I have people that I interview that I'm just really good interviewing. Do you know what I mean? So it's just like I try to stay away from breaking news or having to drop bombs because you see what happens when I drop things, even though those are orchestrated by the players. But I try to stay in the lane that I've chosen for myself, and my goal is to tell their stories, and that's what I love to do. And I'm just thankful that they allow me to tell them.
Yeah, totally.
And Skylar, do you have any other questions before I go to our last one for the fans?
Yeah, we got one tweet that I really wanted to hear your opinion on. So I love keeping up with like NBA walk-in fits. Like I just love paying attention to the fashion of the players. So we got one tweet that was, who do you think in the WNBA has the best shoe game? And I'm going to add on, who do you think has the best fits in the WNBA?
I think Simone Augustus has hands down the best shoe game. I don't know if y'all have seen her closet. It's unreal. Everybody says Kaya, she's great, but I'm talking about active players inside the Wubble. So Simone Augustus in general life has the best shoe game ever. Taya Cooper probably has the best shoe game in the Wubble because nobody else was going to be bothered bringing on his kicks. So shout out Taya. My favorite style, because I'm a model, so I be judging the fits. I'd be like, that ain't it. I think that Diamond DeShields is, I'm obsessed with Diamond. Like it's unhealthy. I think that it's really unhealthy. I think that her style is impeccable, but to me, she can do no wrong. So maybe this is me through a biased lens, but shout out Diamond. But no, I think that she's completely stylish, and Sydney Colson has really good style too.
Yeah, I'm so excited to see Sydney back and be able to keep up with her fits again.
Funniest team around.
All right, last question for you. A lot of UK fans don't get to see the WNBA that much, and it's kind of an introduction to them. So what would you want to tell UK-based fans about the WNBA and about the league? Because for many of them, it's at the same time as the NBA. It's amplifying the message a little bit more, and the games are on. So what would you want to tell UK fans about the WNBA? What do you want to leave them with?
On the court, you're going to see some great doms. I just feel like the doms are underrated in the WNBA.
Oh, the Taurasi no-looks are just unbelievable.
DC's no-look passes, it's not just a pass, it's just the way she runs away from it before she even sees out.
Yep.
That's what always gets me. But it's a great style of play. I don't like chaos. That's why I don't typically watch the NBA. So I like the pace of the WNBA. So if you like a slightly slower pace where you can actually follow the game, go WNBA. Off the court, these players are amazing. They're hilarious. If basketball's not your thing, follow them on TikTok, follow them on Twitter.
Yep.
Freaking hilarious. Most of them don't really use Instagram like that. Outside they're like cute little fashion pics, but like TikTok and Twitter at with the players. They vlog, so you can really get to know their stories online. So yeah, my biggest suggestion, because I know the UK audience isn't really that big on basketball yet, fall in love with their personalities first and then follow their team. Some teams win more than others, like significantly more. But just as long as you still love the player, you still love them. Like I'm a Sparks fan, like, and that's how I've been since Lisa Leslie. So I love Lisa Leslie because she wore a ribbon in her hair, and that was 11-year-old me, like, oh my God, love her. Because she's super girly, and back then I was too. That's something as basic that can lead you to loving the game. So
great. Well, thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate it. We'd love to have you back, and we got to get Mer Minks, got to get Meredith.
A me and Minks round table. That's fun.
Exactly. We'll get her on eventually. She like bit a little bit. She nibbled at it today, and we'll get her on next time.
Oh, dang it.
I want to talk to Merminks about Jimmy Butler. Come on.
I know. We'll get it later in the season.
Honestly, I can't.
All right. Thanks, Ari.
Thanks, Ari.
Thank you, guys.